Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again, and welcome to another DVD and Blu-ray update. Before I get into the update, I'm wanting to give a couple of shout outs because most of the titles I'm about to show are from a couple of YouTubers, Jarrett and Rob, two awesome movie lovers from Australia. So yeah, if you've not subbed to either of them, please do so. Their channel links will be left in the description box below. There's a bit of everything in this update. We've got modern movies, 80s movies, slashers, horror, action, and a couple of TV series. So a lot to get through, so let's get straight into it, and we're going to start off with the Blu-rays. And first up we have Expendables 2. Finally picked up a copy, and for a really good price. I picked it up for $21, which is really good for an Australian new release. Watched the film and had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really good, a pretty solid sequel. Not as good as the original, but still it pretty much met all my expectations and I had a lot of fun with it. I will say I did not like the characters of Arnie or Chuck at all. I thought they were terrible. Van Damme stole the show for me with this one. He was awesome as the villain. But yeah, solid sequel and I enjoyed it a lot. So Expendables 2, I'm sure most of you have seen it. If you haven't, I recommend it. The next one is the 2-disc special edition of Watchmen. I've been wanting this movie for a while now, so looking forward to checking it out. I'm not normally big into my superhero movies, but I do quite enjoy the ones that aren't based on the comic book characters. And I've heard this one is meant to be pretty good, so that's Watchmen. The next one is an upgrade from my DVD, and that's Buried with Ryan Reynolds. The next one is Gamer with Gerard Butler. I've seen this movie once before and it's been years, and I did like it a lot. Just never really got around to picking it up until now. Looking forward to revisiting it. Pretty good, sort of sci-fi futuristic movie based around the virtual game world. So that's Gamer. And the last Blu-ray is Excision. I wasn't sure whether I'd really enjoy this movie, but it turns out I did, and I'm definitely glad that I picked it up. This was one of the ones I got from Jared for a really good price. Not for everyone though, it's very weird, very bizarre, but I was sitting there intrigued and interested the whole time. Pretty much not like nothing else out there, which is a good thing in terms of modern horror. But yeah, it's about a teenage girl who sort of has sick and twisted psychosexual fantasies. She's really into surgery and blood and everything. It's just weird and bizarre, you know. You really have to watch this movie to fully understand it. But I enjoyed it a lot, so glad I took the chance on it. Okay, now on to the DVDs. We have Road Games with Jamie Lee Curtis. This is an early 80s Australian horror movie, very similar to The Hitcher, but nowhere near as good, about a serial killer who targets hitchhikers along a lonely highway. The film basically plays out like a cat and mouse style sort of film, with Jamie Lee Curtis and a truck driver trying to stop the hitchhiker killer. Pretty bland and boring, to be honest. Not a lot really happens, and this pretty much cemented the fact that I'm not a massive fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. I know she has a lot of fans and I'm probably going to upset a few people with my comment, but apart from her role in Halloween as Laurie Strode, I don't think she's very good in any of her other movies. I don't know, she just doesn't really do anything on screen. Pretty bland and pretty boring in my opinion. But yeah, I had pretty high expectations for this one and they certainly weren't met, so I don't really recommend it. I'm still going to hang on to it though. It's good to have a Australian horror film in the collection, and I'll give it another rewatch at some point. This release is definitely the one to get. I know the UK one is cut by about 14 minutes, but this is the full uncut version. The next one I've done a separate review on, so I'm not really going to talk too much about the movie in the update, and that's Red Ink. It's an Australian horror movie from 2012, so really recent. I liked it a lot, I thought it was great. Pretty different as well, so I highly recommend this one. It was excellent. The next one is Ultimate Zombie Feast, and I highly recommend this to anyone that is into zombie movies. It's a bunch of 16 short films ranging from about 5 minutes up to an hour from all over the world, and 2 disc set. I've only watched the first disc so far, and I've got to say I was pretty impressed with it. Like any short film collection or compilation, some are a bit hit and miss, but for the most part I've really enjoyed all the films that I've seen so far, and some of them are so well done, really good gore and everything. So if you're a zombie fan, definitely pick up Ultimate Zombie Feast. Sorry. The next one I have, which I haven't got around to watching yet, is The Dark. I love the cover art on that, and the movie itself does sound pretty good. The last lot of films that I got from Rob are the 4 Toxic Avenger films. I've been really wanting to get into a bit of trauma stuff, and I've heard this is a really good place to start. Can't comment on the movies because I haven't seen them yet, but I'm expecting to have sort of cheesy fun with them, or at least I hope so. But I've heard mostly good things about them, so looking forward to checking these ones out. And now on to the stuff that I picked up myself. We have 3 copies of the same film. Yes, I know, Prom Night. The reason I picked up 3 copies of this movie is basically because I have an addiction, and my addiction told me that I needed to pick up 3 copies of the same film. Prom Night, the original one, you know, the 80s slasher movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the movie. I think it's rather average, and in my opinion, one of the worst 80s slasher films. So you're probably thinking even more, why the hell did I pick up 3 copies? Well, first of all, it's very rare to find an 80s slasher movie in stores. Secondly, they were really cheap. I got this during the Big W sale, and I think I paid like just over $3 per DVD, which I thought was not too bad. Thirdly, I don't own the individual release of Prom Night via the Australian edition, which I do now. And the other 2 copies I thought might be good for trading off, or if I end up doing a contest or something. So those are my reasons for picking up 3 copies of Prom Night. The next one we have is the Ultimate Zombie Collection. This is another great release from Umbrella. So far I've only checked out Zombie Flesh Eaters, and I've got to say I was quite disappointed with it, which is probably going to pretty much shock everyone, because I know everyone or most of you guys absolutely love the movie. I definitely think it's overhyped, and the hype of the movie definitely was its downfall while I was viewing it. I will admit though, the zombies and the gore looked amazing, but there wasn't enough zombie action, and I kind of felt the storyline was a little bit boring and slow in parts. I will revisit it, and I hope it will grow on me, but yeah, not a big fan of this one, and I haven't checked out Burial Ground or Zombie Holocaust yet. The next one I picked up today actually, and that's Seed. I paid $5 for this at Big W, which I thought was a pretty good price. This is via the Payless Entertainment label. They're like a budget DVD distribute company in Australia, and I was pretty impressed with this release. The transfer was pretty solid on it. So for the movie itself, I didn't think too much of it. I watched it today and I'm a bit mixed on it. It's not a good movie, but then it's not terrible. It did have its issues. There were some real animal cruelty scenes at the beginning of the film which weren't necessary. They did not need to be included in the movie at all. And I have an issue with any form of cruelty, especially animal cruelty. It was real and I was fucking pissed off with it. I wanted to get up and punch the people on screen, you know. I was just so angry and furious with it. The second issue I had with the movie, which was a pretty major one, was the camera work. It was a mixture of handheld and tripod use. The handheld was too jerky and shaky and just downright annoying and disruptive a lot of the times, and I was sitting there thinking, just use a fucking tripod. When they used a tripod it was fine, but most of the movie was sort of handheld and it was very jerky and not very well done at all. The kills are mixed on them. Some of them were pretty good, pretty gory and violent. However, there was one kill that was absolutely atrocious and it was way too long. It lasted nearly 4 to 5 minutes, I think, actually. It was really drawn out and the CGI was awful. One of the worst CGI kills that I've ever seen. It was just horrible. The characters, however, they were pretty good, and it had an interesting storyline. It was about a mass murderer, Sam Seed, who had 2 failed attempts at execution. The prison guards buried him alive. He was still alive, obviously, so he managed to dig himself out of the ground, come back and seek his revenge. So the storyline, it was kind of interesting, something a little bit different, and the characters were pretty solid for the most part. I enjoyed the killer. He was really brutal and he looked awesome. But yeah, overall I really wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I'm going to keep it. I'm glad I didn't pay any more than $5, and I definitely thought it was worth a watch. So yeah, that's Seed. And the last 2 things that I picked them up today also. I had a gift card from Sanity which I got for Christmas, and instead of getting some movies I thought I'd pick up a couple of TV shows that I've been wanting to check out, and I got really good deals on both of them. They were part of the 2 for $45 range of TV series, and the first one is American Horror Story. Yes, I know it's DVD. When it comes to TV shows, you know, I'm not too concerned about having it on Blu-ray. The DVD's fine. I've heard this is an amazing show and I was really happy that I got it for such a good price in the deal. Haven't started it yet, but I'm planning to, over the next couple of weeks, delve into this one. And yeah, really excited for it. It's meant to be awesome. And the next TV show, the final thing for the update, is American Gothic. Again, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've never seen the show before, but I checked out a couple of trailers and it looked really, really good. It sounds good. So yeah, can't wait to check this one out as well. Alright, so that has been my update. Quite a massive amount of titles that I got through. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching.